Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Now we are from group 3, want to presentation about assessing. Now, Ayumna want to explain about definition assessing.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So I'm going to start the presentation with the definition of assessment. Assessing is a part of testing and evaluation because we try to assess the student based on their score. Assessing itself, here a process about giving the student score based on their capability or their answer of the test. So we can get the overall score of the student, and then we can see which one from the student that failed and which one success following the learning. We also can give the assessment based on their performance while answering the test or their interaction while joining material, or we can put only kind of criteria. Assessments are often equated with traditional tests, especially the standardized tests developed by testing companies and administered to large population of student educators use a diverse array of assessment tools and methods to measure everything from a 4-year-old readiness for kindergarten to a 12th grade student's comprehension of advanced physics. Assessment also are used to identify individual student weakness and strengths so that educators can provide specialized academic support, educational programming, or social service. That's it for me.
Okay, here I will explain about purpose of assessment. First, keeping track, which is to trace and track the learning process of students according to the predefined learning implementation plan. Second is checking up, which is to check the achievement of students' abilities in the learning process and the shortcomings of students during the learning process. Fourth, finding out, which is to found, and detect deficiencies, errors, or weaknesses of students in the learning process so teachers can quickly alternative solution. And the last one is summing up, which is to conclude the level of mastery of students against predetermined competencies. That's all for purpose of assessment.
Okay, now is type of assessment. The first is right assessment. Right assessment is one of assessment or assessment that is frequently used is right assessment or written assessment. The test that can be used for this written assessment is to answer the issues that has been provided. Not only do I answer, written tests can also be drawn and colored. These writing test samples are very easy to find. Let's say a final grade exam, employee who will be promoted will also usually go through written tests first. The written tests for employee and student are of course different. The second is mind assessment. The kind of performance assessment or performance assessment can future evaluate because the test participant must come forth and apply the given knowledge. In this assessment, the test participants are required to appear before the assessor to demonstrate the given materials. This assessment can not only assess understanding but also test participant attitudes in performance assessment that are value more complex and plentiful.
Third, portfolio assessment. A portfolio assessment is a work assessment done by collecting files during study. Tests or learners are required to compile the tasks that have been assigned to a map or container. Duty and order are also assessed in this assessment. Fourth, project assessment. This project assessment of assignments that should be given and should be completed within the framework. One specific time, this assessment is an investigative project that requires students to collect, process, and evaluate data. Usually, project inspectors are organized in groups. Project assessment could be given to study groups such as science and language. An an example is a project to study the growth of a plant or an animal.
5. Product assessment. Product assessment is an assessment of the skills product made by students or test takers. In this assessment, the teacher does not only assess the product produced, but also assess attitudes during product manufacture. This product assessment can be applied to all types of subject in school. The example, in the assessment of art of craft product made by students. 6. Self-assessment. Self-assessment is an assessment carried out by students and teachers specially. Usually, the teacher makes this assessment for the benefit of management of learning activities. This type of assessment is in the form of providing critiques and suggestion for better learning.
Okay, next is function of assessment. First, formative assessment. Formative assessment provides diagnostic feedback to students and instructors at short-term intervals. For example, like during class or every week. Next, summative assessment provides a description of a student's level of achievement after completing an activity, module, or course. An evaluative assessment provides the instructor with curricular feedback like field trip scores or oral presentation technique. And then educational assessment integrate into the learning activities themselves. Educational assessment builds student and faculty insight and understandings about their own learning and teaching.
Characteristic of assessment. First, clarity of goals. One of the main features of assessment that teachers should be very clear about the goals of the activity or task, and they should clearly explain the success criteria. Part of that clarity is to do with using language that students understand, talking over their heads using jargon, unfamiliar acronyms, or any other language that makes it harder for them to understand is not acceptable. Second, the right style of questioning. Asking about what they know in a way that Second, the right style of questioning. Asking about what they know in a way that is designed to get relevant answer are also key features of assessment. The right types of questions will provide teacher with assessment opportunities. Third, constructive feedback. The feedback will help them improve and should also motivate them, especially in showing them the way they need to go to get better. Fourth, time to absorb learning. Part of assessment is the opportunity to give them time to allow what they have learned to sink in. Absorption of learning is an important part of ensuring that it sticks in their minds. If they are to retain the information, they need time to let it happen. Fifth, reflection and self-monitoring. Reflection in education is an important for students as it is for teachers. By encouraging students to reflect on the things they have learned, what they could do better, and why they did something wrong or right, especially through their own self-assessment, so they will be better equipped to be self-motivated. Okay, for the conclusion here, the first, it can be concluded that the definition of assessment is the process of measuring an object by using certain criteria to achieve a goal. Assessment is need to be used as evaluation material to make it even better. Assessment can be carried out by various methods in accordance with predetermined objectives. The choice of this method can be based on the ability for which progress is to be known. The measure an object can also use many assessment methods. Assessment does not only exist in the world of education. Employees also need to be assessed. Therefore, everyone must know and understand about assessment or assessment. But according to me, the simply way to know or to understand the assessment here, I think assessment is an effort to obtain the data or information from a learning process and result in order to find out how well performance of students. Uh, we can assess from class or course of study or study programs it to compare to certain learning objectives and criteria till the outcomes. I think that's all the conclusion that I can get.
Okay, that's all from our group. Anybody have a question?
Any question?
I have a question. I have a question. Akila. Akila want to ask.
Yeah, Akila.
How to assess self-assessment.
Okay, thank you. Next.